Welcome back. I'm Mabel Jong, and you're watching continuing coverage of the World Healthcare Congress here in Washington, D.C. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm back now with Lee Lewis, who is with Arthur J. Gallagher, based out of Dallas. And we're going to talk to Lee about some of the new health trends, the tech trends that we're seeing in the healthcare sector today. Hi, Lee. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great today. Thanks for having me.
Well, I wanted to ask you specifically about technology because we're seeing lots of things going on in this space that is really unique to healthcare. What are some of the more exciting trends that you've seen?
For me, there's a handful of them. You have the convergence of artificial intelligence, which is allowing us to do something unprecedented, and that is to take all human knowledge around medicine and be able to put them in one place and be able to scan all of it instantly using powerful computers and natural language processing artificial intelligence, which is something that is going to help doctors be able to provide accurate diagnoses using the full body of knowledge that is available to them. The second area that's interesting is the Internet of Things, the medical Internet of Things, where we're seeing an explosion in the new types of scanners, trackers, and biometric collection devices that are going to be on our bodies and throughout our homes and in the workplace that will allow us to collect data and proactively address and detect and hopefully treat and prevent medical problems.
Okay. And who's really driving the interest in the new technology? Who's investing in this, and are we seeing hospital systems, insurance companies really getting into the game in this area too, or is there a specific sector that is most interested in that?
That's a great question. A lot of times we think, oh, if there's a challenge in healthcare, then it's healthcare who's going to naturally be the one to fix it. When in truth, it's not always that simple. You see that there are a number of technology interests coming out of Silicon Valley who may not have had any background in healthcare, but who are coming into this new area and deploying technology that might normally have been deployed in transportation or retail, and are now deploying those lessons learned and technologies into healthcare. You also have large employers who more and more are taking on the responsibility of being really disciplined about the way they purchase healthcare. And that discipline, as it rolls out into the marketplace, and then they look at the procurement, the cost and quality and value of what they're buying on behalf of their employees, you start to see technology take a very important role in helping and facilitating them to do that.
Okay. There's a number of distractions in the healthcare sector now. We have a new administration who has really given foggy messages on where our healthcare delivery system is going to end up. Is that distracting to your customers, to your clients that you work with right now, who are trying to come up with great benefit plans?
Right. I would almost think, in some ways, yes, but on the margin, on the whole, being distracted and having a lot of disruption and uncertainty has become the new normal in healthcare. We're going on now over 5 years since ACA was passed, and we're nearing a decade since the major conversations started to occur. And as a result of that, companies are used to having no idea what's going to come next. But also I think they're a little jaded in thinking that it's going to be a radical change. And as a result of that, it's quieted down in terms of a lot of the distraction coming out of Congress. I wouldn't say is necessarily affecting all of their daily decisions.
Okay, so is it prohibiting or slowing down the investment in certain areas to improve the system at all?
I think in many ways it's having actually the opposite effect, where employers know there's uncertainty. What they do know they can control is the dollars that they're spending. They know how much it's costing them to provide health care, and at some point they realize, hey, we should probably start deploying more discipline and scrutiny into this area and evaluating what we're buying, how we're buying it, what's the quality, the cost, and how high is the service in this area. Employers are used to buying inputs, steel, printers and computers, cleaning services and legal services. They're used to procuring all kinds of things as a part of their daily revenue cycle and operations of their business. Yet within healthcare, it's almost always silent, where large employers aren't getting that involved and understanding exactly where in any given city they would want to purchase a certain type of surgery. Whereas if it's buying bolts or wires or wheels, it might be something that they will all know down to the penny. And as they start to apply those same procurement principles, they know that they can start to get a handle on what they're spending. And you're seeing not all, but a small portion of disruptive leaders amongst companies are starting to step forward and exercise procurement discipline within healthcare. And often that is resulting from all of the uncertainty that's in the marketplace.
Okay, so given your experience in talking with different clients, what do you think is a very important character trait that companies must have to fix healthcare delivery in the United States, do you believe?
That's great. To me, the most important aspect that any employer can have is courage within their buying center for healthcare and benefits. Oftentimes, this is the most avoided area of exercising a desire to do something different. Whereas in other areas where they're buying other types of things or managing other types of spend, they might be disruptive or cutting edge. When it comes to healthcare, because it's tricky how it's purchased, because individuals buy healthcare as a proxy for the employer spending their money. And so as a result of that, it's sort of the last area where there's not a lot of oversight or thought given necessarily to all the individual inputs of buying. And so that's an area that we're going to see more employers moving in, and will allow them to make major changes. But the aspect that they most need is courage to do so.
Take the chance.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Thank you so much, Lee, for
My
your
pleasure.
time today.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
And I'm Mabel Jong. Thanks for joining us. Stay tuned.